let's be more serious.
Yeah.
On masculinity. And for us to win this war, we need you to join our gang. I'm welcoming you to the Adonis gang. Come join.
My job is done.
And this is how I went from a media addict to a version of mine that I always wanted to become. Quickly, before I begin this video, I want to tell you what it will be about. In this last 100 days, I've been reflecting on every single day of mine, examining if I'm reaching my self-improvement goals. I've been on the self-improvement journey for over a year now, but these past 100 days is where I actually looked at what I'm doing, what I'm achieving, and what are my mistakes. In this video, I'll share all of that with you. Now, I'll begin with my evolution graph. In this graph, you can see all of my metrics from day 1 to day 100. As you can see, I had a lot of relapses. There are many spikes, a lot of ups and downs. The lower the score is, the better my day was. Just to specify, all of these metrics were from August to November. So it was from the end of my summer vacations to half a first semester. And this graph shows my evolution. And if you would look, you could see that my medium score would have been like 7, 8, maybe 9, maybe 6. And my lowest that I ever got was a 1. I'm still chasing for that 0. I believe that I'm very close to it, actually. All of these metrics were influenced by some external and internal factors. The external factors meaning the university, my low productivity, some procrastination and all of the other stuff, some family things, and the internal things were my low self-esteem and my chemicals dysregulation, like my dopamine was messed up because of my overconsumption in media. This sort of graph shows very well where I've been productive and where I've messed up. And using this sort of measurement for your future self-improvement journey is very beneficial. I would recommend you to try it. It's not hard. It doesn't take a lot of time. And you can just store all of your data and then with the help of ChatGPT make a similar graph. Now, moving on to my lessons. What I did is that I wrote at least 2 lessons per day for these 100 days. Every single day, before going to bed, I was journaling, I was reflecting, and doing some self-analysis, looking at my mistakes, trying to write down some interesting stories from my experiences, and sometimes I was also implementing some gratitude journaling. And during these past 100 days, I collected 264 lessons. I've been doing this. Now I have even more lessons. And my average was 2.6 lessons a day for those 100 days, which is equal to 14 weeks or 3 months. I will now present you 5 biggest lessons. Some of them are combined, and then throughout the rest of the video you also learn a lot of things, a lot of micro lessons that are also important but not as important as these ones. Of course, I've let all of the other lessons for free for you. You can check on a free Notion page. All of the others are also very good lessons, but covering all of them would take way too long. That's why I chose to present to you these 5. First, we have the lessons 24 and 67. These covered the optimal cognitive enhancement. This cognitive capacity can be improved by the help of some learning strategies and as well nutritional supplements. A lot of experts nowadays are uncovering the truth that some of your mental illnesses, the not so strong ones, the simpler ones, your depression and a lot of negative feelings, can actually be caused by a lack of vitamins and minerals. That's why you should focus on eating whole foods and supplementing with minerals and vitamins if needed. Going through a blood work would be very beneficial for you. So if you have the opportunity to do it sometime in the future, do it. About those nutritional supplements, the ones that I would suggest to everybody to take some, well, these are the omega-3s, vitamin D, and the magnesium. Now, the omega-3, we can obtain it from some oils, from some nuts, from fishes as well. Now, nowadays, the fish are grown in a very poor nutritionally environment. And they almost do not contain any omega-3s unless you buy some organic fish, which often is very expensive. And supplementing with omega-3 capsules is way cheaper. Then we got the vitamin D. Unless you're living in a country where you have the sun to your disposition all the time, you should supplement with vitamin D. Of course, you have to do it in moderation. If you're feeling that something strange is happening to you after that you've begun this consumption, you should immediately stop. And we are lacking in this vitamin D because we are always covered. We are always wearing some clothes, always staying in some kind of places, not spending enough time in the nature. And that month or two of vacations that you get in the sun is not enough. This vitamin D is synthesized by your body and the sun very slowly, and it can get used quite quickly as well. And the last supplement would be the magnesium. The magnesium helps with muscles, with sleep, with cognitive performance as well. And most of us probably need it. Moving on to the learning strategies, there are a lot of those, hundreds, maybe even thousands of those. And you should choose the most suitable one. And I would recommend you the channel Justin Sung. And this learning expert covers that subject very well. He has helped me enormously during this new chapter of my life that I spent in my university. And one of his great sayings is the idea in which he preaches that we are all capable of becoming great learners. We just have to train ourselves. Learning how to learn is very important in our lives because this is the foundation of our knowledge. If we don't know how to learn, we will probably learn less, or we will spend more time learning
more, and that's why you should optimize your learning skills so that you would be able to absorb more knowledge, also be able to use it more powerfully. Another lesson that I learned concerning all of that was from my anatomy teacher in my university. That man, during one lesson, once said, "We should all become the creators of a subject, not the learners, not the appliers, not the teachers, but the highest kind of learning, the creators, the ones that know how to use all of that subject so well that they can create upon it." Moving on to the lesson 91, the inevitability of discipline in habits. In order to build a habit, you need discipline. You need to stay consistent in that same action for multiple days, multiple weeks, multiple months. There are good and bad habits. The ones that you want to focus on are bad ones, actually. You should try to delete all of those bad habits from your lifestyle and change them with good ones. Creating good habits, that's the challenge for us. Of course, breaking bad habits isn't easy as well. When you are trying to build a habit, a new one, you have to remember that the start is always the hardest. And you should begin from easy things, from the little habits. Make them a part of your schedule. Give them such a high priority that they cannot be skipped. But in the same time, keep them rather small and maybe create a bigger goal for each day, so that if you don't manage to reach that goal, you have at least reached that minimal habit of doing a little bit of something. And lastly, about these habits, I would like to mention to you that you have to choose them wisely. You always have to weigh the pros and cons for these habits. They take a lot of time. And just before we move on to the next lesson, I also want you to work rather smart and store your discipline by using those habits, those good ones that you built, instead of not having any habits and then having to take and take and take from your discipline in order to achieve that goal that could very well be achieved way easier if it would have been your habit. Moving to the other lesson, the lesson 106, the stoicism in adversity. You should try to aim for stoic values, because having those values will make you more adapted and able to confront difficult times and situations. You will be able to maintain composure and rationality, and you will be able to examine your feelings. Being stoic doesn't mean not have any feelings at all. Being stoic means controlling your feelings and not letting them get out of you. Even the good ones. Being too enthusiastic or too happy about something may conduct you to poor choices as well. And by using the stoicism, you will be able to navigate life with grace and effectiveness. And you'll have that extra value over others. The ones that don't have that high of an emotional IQ. Because yes, I would say that stoicism is a part of our emotional IQ. Next lessons, these are again a combined lesson from the lesson 149 and the lesson 171. These talk about the balancing our outside and our inside work. It's balancing our self-care and the work that we produce. We should all aim for that balanced approach in life. Try to find the right relationship between self-care and work. And as I shared in my last video, the old man that spread the wise words, self-care should be our priority. And this balancing is also crucial for holistic success. Remember that you are the foundation of your work and of everything that is produced by you. If you take care of that foundation, if you take care of your health, of yourself, your production will only increase. And the last lesson of these 5, the strategy behind the adversity for motivation, for the drive that we have. It is important to note that this motivation can be influenced by the outside and by the inside as well. The outside is usually the part that influences us in a highest degree, but it is not always present. And so cultivating that inside motivation is the most important thing. Imagine how much you would be able to produce and how many good things you would be able to achieve if you would be motivated all of the time. In order to work on that inner motivation, first of all, you should choose your enemies wisely. Then you should choose your battle and choose your game plan. Once you've chosen all of these 3 planes, you will be able to combine them all and win the war. Something that not everybody knows is that a good enemy is as valuable, if not more valuable, than a good friend. And don't rush into what you think is your mission. Make sure to figure out all of your motivations, all of your strategies, and then dive straight to your purpose. I would like to start and talk about my personal growth and development. All of my life, I've been scared of leaving that comfort zone. I always wanted to stay in it, and discomfort was something that I was deeply afraid of. All of that was mainly caused by the overconsumption in media, which made me afraid of the outside world. As I once heard from a successful entrepreneur with the name of Oussama Amar, we shouldn't aim to get into that discomfort and aim every day for it. That should not be our aim. Our aim should be to expand our comfort zone. That would equal in the same thing, but this would be the healthy way of viewing these kind of things. Now, by journaling all of these evenings, I've learned that through these reflections, you improve your self-analysis. You improve your capacity of understanding your thought process and who you are. And that way you are also improving your choices of your future. Also, if you would like to begin your journaling, you should try to implement some mistakes in your journaling and try to collect them, reflect them, and correct them. Mistakes aren't always a bad thing as well. Sometimes they are inevitable for success. And we can say mistakes are a part of success. You have to aim to get those mistakes, those failures in your life. Because in order to find that huge success, you have to choose a direction that nobody else dared to choose. And you will find that answer only by going through a lot of mistakes and then one day coming onto that very rich mine that nobody else has found yet. During these 100 days, I had a lot of key moments, a lot of realizations. In the beginning, I had realizations every single day. Then that became more rare, but I still had some. All of this to say that journaling will make you have a double thought on your day. When you are present and with a new version of you, your future version that is now reflecting on your past behavior in the present. I've also learned about balancing hard work and relaxation. What is important in this subject is that you should still aim for 80-90% hard work and just the rest relaxation. By choosing a work that is following your purpose and following your dreams, that time will go very fast and you won't even require that much relaxation. I'd like to come back a little bit to the theme of habits and share with you what I learned throughout this time about daily habits and routines. It is very important to have a set morning routine and a set evening routine. These ones are basically determining how your day is going to go. From experience, I can definitely state that having a productive morning routine is the most important task of the day. When you wake up, you are the less susceptible to all of the distractions. You should put your hardest tasks in the beginning of your day. It will be way easier to start them and way easier to get over them. Your brain will also be fresh. The habits that you should cultivate in terms of your health, these are the basics. Basics is a mnemonic on which I've elaborated on my previous weekly review 5. Some habits that we would greatly benefit from are the mindfulness, the meditation, the deep thinking, and the envisioning. All of these 4 habits can help us achieve some clarity in our life, minimize our anxiety that we are feeling, optimize our confidence levels and our functioning levels, as well as improving our physical brain. Something that you might have never heard about and thought about is that our brain has a lot of regions, and all of these regions have to be stimulated. And by entering into some kind of cognitive tasks, thinking about things, doing all of these meditations, all of this envisioning, the deep thinking, will improve the circulation in some kind of regions in your brain, and that will boost your brain abilities. You should also know that creating and breaking down habits is a part of our entire journey, and we should always look back at our habits, upgrade some of them, eliminate the others. Moving on to the reflections and insights of this period of my life. Throughout this journaling, I developed it as a skill of mine. I've got deeper and more insightful reflections throughout these days. Now, every single day that I live more these new reflection, this new journaling that I keep doing is getting more and more insightful. And that would happen to you as well if you would try. I've also managed to understand the reality of our life, that relapses is a thing that we cannot fully ignore. Maybe this falling down won't happen in the form of a relapse, but it will happen through some sort of mistake. And there is always value in the positive and the negative experiences. When I managed to reach those deeper insights, I got deeper introspections. I was able to find out significant issues in my life and make those changes that were needed. I've also become even more self-aware, and now I'm even quicker at adapting myself to new situations and at going on through faster shifts of life. Quickly skimming through my key achievements and milestones through this 100-day period. Well, I got my driving license. I managed to choose and go to a university, which I'm required to do to get my license for physiotherapy. I got better grades than ever. I've created my YouTube channel, and I did so much more. I've also understood that self-improvement is for life. It's something with which you can drastically change your life in a short amount of time, but then that you should keep going for the rest of your life. I've developed the skill of being able to get back up from these relapses because they never let go. And these 100 days helped me figure out what is happiness and what I truly want from life. Looking at the challenges and obstacles that I had to go through, the biggest one is, of course, media. It's probably the most popular one as well. Media causes us competition. It worsens our mental health. It creates a false reality, a sense of being secure. It releases a lot of dopamine, creates addictions. Media is a terrible thing in our society. It can also be very positive with all of this value exchange, and we have to learn how to use it properly and extract that value from it. Media can be a weapon. It can be a shield as well. It can take everything from you, and it can give everything to you. I've also experienced this life as a student. I have to say that this is not something that I'm enjoying to its fullest, but it's a valuable experience. Even though throughout this time period I managed to sort of find out my purpose, my friends, my enemies, find out who I am, all of this research towards these types of things is never ending. Our biology, our genetics, our subconscious is something that we do not fully comprehend and we do not fully use voluntarily. And we have to be very careful. Always look at ourselves. Always reevaluate where we stand in life, what we believe, what we want to do. Are we dangerous? Are we valuable to the society? And if not, we should make ourselves valuable to the society, to humanity, or at least to yourself. I've also struggled a lot during my life finding a support system. When I struggle, have some people with which I can talk and share my experiences. Because of my introverted nature, I've struggled a lot in this region. And the deeper I go into my self-improvement, the more clear everything becomes. The last points on which I want to focus on are my biggest turning points and podcasts, the valuable side of media. My first mistake was that I forgot about goals. I've set a purpose. Before, I was setting goals every time, every day. But during this last few months, I forgot about those. And I really did feel the difference. I was way less productive. You should focus on those long-term goals that are the priority and the most important things, but you should also focus on those short goals, which I now began doing again, and I'm way more productive than before. This is a key aspect of improvement that I've been missing for a short amount of time. Also, remember that your experiences, the events in your life that you go through, all of these are aspiring your future thoughts and choices. So before making a choice, always be careful not to base it on your emotions, not to base it on your previous events. Throughout these 100 days, I've listened to tens, probably not, but maybe hundreds of podcasts, a few hundred hours of them for sure. I've listened to them at a 2 times speed, and I have a lot to talk about these podcasts, but that would take a long time, and I will not cover all of that in this video. I am announcing though that from now on, every Saturday, I'll be releasing an overview of that last week's podcast that were released, and I'll share the 3 top ones that you should listen to. You might ask yourself, what are my future goals and aspirations right now that I've gone through so much improvement? Well, you've got a lot of them, and you should all have new goals that appear after you reach some of your Asian goals. First of all, I want to become consistent on YouTube, improve my speaking skills, my editing skills, my production skills. I want to help other people, spread a positive message to the world. Finishing off this video with a perfect weather outside, the sun shining of me trying to spread a positive emotion to you. Let's view the takeaway. We should all aim for continuous growth, for self-discovery and life values such as discipline, consistency, willpower. All of these values that are not easy to create, but that can improve your self-improvement. And with these values, your life will be much easier to fulfill. I will leave you with this question. How would embracing discomfort and some challenges today transform you in the next 100 days? Think about all of this. Maybe go do some journaling. And aim to reach the sky. You can find all of the resources that I used for this video in the description below. I've prepared a Notion page in which all of the description of all of the parts of the video is present. You can also find the whole list of my lessons there as well.